Hey guys, ILene Vick here for Teaching Adult Coloring with ILene Vick. It is Monday, September 13th at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, and I am live. Welcome, welcome, welcome to my broadcast. Good to see everybody. It's a glorious new week. And everything's going well. All right. Hey, Rhonda. Hopefully I'll be able to see your comments. There we go. Hi, Eileen. Yay! Yippee-yay! Hold on, I need to get something real quick. Stay. Hello, Mary. Mary Blankenship. Good to see everybody that can make it. Always. Hello, Ashley. All right. So, welcome to my Facebook peeps who come in and chat. I knew what she meant, Ash. Zoom in. Zoom out. And welcome to my Facebook peeps who come in and lurk and watch. Good to see ya. I'm glad you're here. Feel free to drop in and say something anytime. And welcome to my YouTube viewers who'll see this when I post this when it goes to video. And don't forget, it also goes to video in our Facebook group. All right. Thank you, Rhonda. I just got this book in. It's called Victoria Chibi. Now, I want to talk about something here about this. Zoom out. Zoom out. Let's see here. Let me just check something real quick. Okay, I want you to notice that it says grayscale. And we've had lots of discussion about this. Hi, Sarah. So, in this particular book, and then I'll flip through it, the author has simply shaded a little bit around the edges. This is not grayscale. This is grayscale. That means that this picture here was color at one time and then adjusted to go to black and white so that it could be colored by colorists. So I want you to understand the difference on this. Let me get this here. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Hold on. This is just simply tinted. Zoom in. Zoom in. But at least it does tell you that there is gray on it. Sarah, what's going on today? You said you didn't feel good today. What's going on? So I'm going to go through this book and show it to you. It's a neat little book. 9/13/21 from ILene. So here's the opening page. Zoom out. And then we have the standard this book belongs to. Acid reflux, acting up, and family. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. So here's a guide to using the book. 25 drawings in the book, and there are double images. Oh, you left work early today. Oh, Sarah, I hope things get better. Okay, section 1. And let me flip through this. All right. So this whole theme now is Victorian. I love this one. And I'm going to do a relatively prompt page of this. I just want you to see it and get a flavor for it. Do I remember who has the friends starting coloring? I have 2 sets of Castle Arts and some books that need a home. Yes, yes, that would be Rhonda's friend. Rhonda, talk to Ashley. So these pages are absolutely gorgeous. I love the eyes on these. Yep, Rhonda's friend Ginny. Look at this, the butterfly flying towards her. Aren't these pretty? So we've got really pretty images here. I'm sorry you don't like the pencils. No, she just said she has double sets. So Rhonda and Ashley, you two need to chat. Beautiful, beautiful book here. I like these because they tell a story. We've talked a little bit about that. Hey, Maddie. Okay. Rhonda and Ashley need to chat. Isn't this beautiful? See how she's leaning up against the table? We've got our apples. Excuse me. I love this one, the portrait here. This is Victorian Chibi. It's a new book I got in today, Maddie. And I like the close-up of the pictures, of the images. Yeah, that's one of the main reasons I got the book, because of the eyes. Love this picture. I thought you guys would enjoy it, and it is on our affiliate list if you decide that you like it. And again, guys, this is a very loose definition of grayscale. This stuff is just tinted. It's claiming to be a grayscale book. Okay, Amy, thanks for letting us know. Won't be on tonight, family dinner. And your mom's birthday. This is pretty, love it. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to flip by so quickly on that one. Now this will be pretty to color because this is gathered material. Ah, look at that one. And then section 2. Yeah, Sarah said, I meant to mention that. Sarah said that she got the Disney chibi book by her. So this is Victorian chibi. Demita Victoria. And so section 2 is a repeat, so of course I won't, you know, go through that again. It's got the black pages, typical pages. They're thin paper, so if you have a copier, you'll probably want a copy on it. So, pretty book. So that's in our library now. Okay. Then I wanted to show you this page real quick that I'm working on. And this is from Country Autumn, and this is from Ashley. Thank you again, Ashley. So I'm puttering around with this, doing the truck. Zoom in. So I'm enjoying doing this when I'm playing with it. Zoom in. So this gives you a good idea how it looks, playing around with the shading, playing around with pumpkins. So yeah. Okay. Let's get coloring. I've got 2 projects that I'm going to be working on tonight. Hi, Rebecca. Zoom out. Zoom out. Rhonda says, love the truck and the tires. Yep, Fanciful Fantasies. I believe we've got that one. Okay. So I'm working on, this is my Color Sweet Animals by Jane MADAY, and this is Rhapsody in the Forest. And if you guys have any questions or comments on this while I'm working on it, speak up. I worked on the roses last night. And I'm having a lot of fun doing this one. Alright guys, so let me continue with this one. I hope you're enjoying it. And I hope you're enjoying it as much as I'm enjoying coloring it for you. Oh, excuse my arm. Sorry about that. So Ashley says I have her inspiration one in the giveaway pile. I don't like the light grayscale. Ashley, yes. I was exactly going to say that. Try it first. Guys, please quit making quick judgments like that. Isn't that puppy gorgeous? I did that for you last night, as you know if you were here. Okay. Zoom in. So I'm working my way around the wreath. I did the apples last night. We've got some little pine cones. Now, I don't know what half this stuff is that's on here, and that's okay. But I'm still going to work it here. Now, even if you don't know what something is, and actually, I like the fact that I don't know what some of these things are, because that's going to give you the challenge to color the pieces according to context. So let's go ahead and take a look at these. We'll do this little star thing. And I think I'm going to go ahead and work that in the browns. And my golds. So I've got a dark brown, a medium brown, and let me pull a gold. I hope everybody is having a decent day today. Make your day, guys. Zoom in. So I'm going to use the Civo Vivid. Very inexpensive pencil. Zoom in. And I'm going to go ahead and start my lighter colors. Again, I have no idea what this little puppy is. It looks like some kind of clove, actually. I don't know, garlic maybe? Yeah, Civo Vivid. S-I-V-O-V-I-V-I-D. Very inexpensive pencil. Alright, this is my bison color from Brett Funner. And that is color YK20, but the color on it is 110. Could be a seed pod. But like I said, again, I'm glad that we don't know what it is, because That means that you have to go ahead and create your own beauty out of it. And then I'm going to use a Brett Funner Yoke Yellow out of the 520 set. And smooth and blend that darker brown that I just put in. And I'm also going to take that and go over that yellow that I just put in. Then I'm going to take my black, it's a black onyx, Brett Funner 520, and I'm going to go ahead and give some definition to the center of this. And then I'm going to use my Faber-Castell 169, which I believe we said was Caput Mortuorium. And I'll go ahead and outline this in the brown with a little bit over the gold. Now, sometimes when you don't know when something is, you've got to fly by the seat of your pants, right? How pretty is that? And then I'll go ahead and use my Faber-Castell 103, my ivory, and we'll soften that puppy up. And if you want to go ahead and open an area in this, also, I'm changing music to softer, is I'm going to use my Tombow eraser and lighten up those inner sections here. So we've agreed that this is some sort of pod, and that's what we colored it. Cool. So now I've got a little button thingy here, for lack of a better word. And we want to go ahead and use soft colors. So I'll tidy up a little bit. So we'll go ahead and put some yellow on there. Notice I'm not filling it in. And then I'm going to go ahead and put in a little bit of green off to the left. My yellow was my Castle Arts Soft Touch color 005. It's called a lemon yellow. And my green is my Brett Funner Sharp Green from the 502 set. And then I'm going to go ahead and put in my Scarlet Red, which is not, I feel, a scarlet red. And pink up the side a little bit. And then back to my dark brown in the center. Which is my Faber-Castell 169. And I'll also carry that brown around to the outside. And a little bit in. Yeah, it is. It's Ashley, it is more Papa Red. Hello, Wanda. Okay. So just for consistency, now don't be afraid to use your greens and your yellows on stuff like this, because that will pick up, especially on that lemon peel or orange, that I did earlier for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll you around here to my next piece. And we'll go ahead and catch this one as well. So we'll put a little bit of that yellow in. A little bit of that green. And then that poppy red. Now, again, if you don't know what something is, guys, don't stress over it, please. Use your imagination. Use your color palette that you've been going with on your project. And again, this is a perfect project to talk about that concept because we don't know what everything is. All right, let me put the brown center in. Excuse me. And I'm also going to brown up the outside a little bit. And this is where I'm going to take my bison black and make that core very dark. All right. And let me go back to my first one real quick here. Now remember, this whole piece, and I'm even going to take some of this dark and I'm going to run it in segments on the outside of whatever this is. And I love this dark over this poppy red. All right, back to this one. Our dark in the center. And then pull some of that shading in. And I don't mind blending with my finger because it's a smudgy kind of piece anyway. Okay. What do I always say on your pieces, guys? Challenge yourself. All right. Challenge yourself. What did I... This is that. Oh, talk much? No. Think even less. Okay. So let me roll you around. So I'm going to use my poppy red to start. Notice that I'm letting it run over to the edge here of whatever this is. And then I'm going to pop in with my lemon yellow, which is my 005 Castle Arts. All right, and we'll pop in a little bit of that brown now. And I'm going to darken my center with my brown and with my black. And then go lightly over my yellow here with that brown. And on this one, just for giggles and laughs, I'm going to go ahead and put an inside edge on this. And that'll give me a dimensional look to this thing. Isn't that cool? All right, let's take a look at this whole thing. I've got one more to do. Zoom out. Let me put it up right here. Zoom out. Isn't that looking cool? So these little guys now are just popping out from our whole piece. And let me work on my last one here. Zoom in. And let's get our Castle Arts lemon yellow. And I'll pull in my dark in the center because I want that to have a depth to it. And notice how I'm doing that as well by going around this edge on the inside. And then I'll pop in a little bit of a brown here. Now also notice too is when you're shading, you can shade one side of it like this. So I've got the brown, zoom in, and then I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of that darker, this black, bison, B-I-S-O-N, on that inside here. And then we'll go ahead and use my ivory and we'll blend that up just a little bit, soften it up. Soft, soft, soft. How pretty. Okay, I think I got all my, no, I didn't. So let me roll around here. And we've got one that's underneath that twine. Now, please notice, I've got a lot of brown here because of this twine, right? So on this little, whatever this is, I'm going to emphasize the green and the rose color. Think it through, guys. So there's my rose, and here's my green. And I will put a little bit of my brown in here, but I'll go ahead and put that over my orange. And notice how that is beautifully, beautifully blending that in. Zoom in, zoom in. And then I'm going to darken my center here of my piece. I'll just call it a button. How pretty. So I'm going to tidy that up a little bit. And we'll go ahead and, again, I'll smooth it with my ivory Faber-Castell. Boom, done. Zoom out, zoom out, zoom out. Everybody see how this is pulling together now with these different colors? Any questions or comments? All right. Just stop me if you feel like chatting it up and asking. All right, let's work on a couple of pine cones. Pine cones. Zoom in, zoom in, zoom in. Now, when you're coloring on a wreath like this, so right now I've got my Prismacolor Sable PC 940. When you're coloring on a project like this, color those pieces that help you see the overall pattern. And when you're working on a wreath, you have one of two choices. Either you can stay relatively consistent with the colors on each item. In other words, we could make all the pine cones identical, all the apples identical. I talked about that yesterday. And you'll have a little bit of a variance because that's just, you know, human nature when you're coloring with your pencil, that something's going to be a little different. Now, notice that I'm making my yellow a little darker on this side. That's going to tone it up, meaning when I go to put my second color on here, this color underneath on the right hand side is going to influence a little more than on the left. Do you have to do that? No, but I'm showing you the technique on how to do that. Don't make it hard, guys. It's not hard. Okay. Now I'm going to come in with my Coconut Brown C117 Cool Bank. Now notice on this right hand side where I put in a little bit more of my base yellow, that this brown is coming out a little bit lighter than it is on this side. That was deliberate. And that's just because I wanted this to vary within the pine cone itself. Now, one little issue that you need to be aware of, zoom out, zoom out, zoom out. Oop, don't want to go that far. Zoom in, zoom in. On the other side of this pine cone, I've got these little bumpy rhinestones from a picture that I did on the other side. Ashley and I were talking about it the other day. So, because this is a back-to-back picture, I'm dealing with having to color over bumpies. Zoom in. So, you need to be a little careful with that and pushing with your pencil, because for me, on the other side of this, I've got these rhinestones that I glued to the page. And if anybody's laughing, I'm going to smack you. Nah, I'll give you a hug instead. So that's one of the major bad things in doing something like this. Yeah, Ashley said yes, I was curious about how this part would work. Very carefully, Ashley. Now, what you can do, if you do it very carefully, because I've put down a layer of wax, basically the yellow pencil, is to take a marker, a water-based marker, and color in very lightly where you're having to deal with the little bumpies. But the trick is that I'm doing right now is I'm just coloring very lightly, which is what you should be doing anyway. Okay, Faber-Castell 103, soften up my brown. And then I'm going to come in with my black. I did this before on my pine cone. This is my black onyx by Brett Funner. Now, we've talked about blacks before. Different brands have different blacks. But you can still see now that I am getting my shading in between my little pine cone nubbies. So I'm outlining around my nubbies, is what I'm calling them. And this is where this is going to start giving the depth and dimension on this. It's really pretty. Don't be afraid of black, guys. I always tell you, be careful with it, but don't be afraid of it. Ashley, that was you that said you colored in the background with black, right? Okay. So I'm bringing in that black shading, and as I'm coming out on the petal of the pine cone, I'm getting lighter and lighter with it. Now, I want you to remember that this whole piece is predicated on the fact that we're using lots of shading and black. And I picked this project on purpose because I don't want you to be afraid of dramatic color, number one, and number two, I don't want you to be afraid of using your black. I'm walking you through it. Alright, so notice how I'm outlining the petals of this pine cone with the black. Zoom out. Isn't that pretty? So Rebecca says, I like the idea of a black background when Ashley mentioned it, so the background of my next piece is black. Super. And don't forget, when you use marker, that you can go back over it with pencil if you have marker streaks. Okay, now notice I'm also coloring in a couple of these petals black themselves. And those are the ones that are near the bottom, but don't color in too many, okay? Okay, pretty. Guys, you're awfully quiet tonight. Any question-wise, any questions or comments or... I mean, that's okay. As long as you're getting it, we're good. Oh, where'd my pen go? There we go. All right. Well, the proof will be in the pudding as I see you guys post. All right, my Arteza white pen, and I'm using the size 1.0, and I'm going to go ahead now and we're going to pop a little bit of white on that. Remember that less is more. And on this particular one, I'm going to put a little more white in the center. Now, don't have a heart attack if your pen color comes through, or your pencil color comes through on your white. That happens sometimes, and that just means that you just need to reapply. No biggie. Ooh, that music reminds me of snow falling. Zoom in. Zoom in. Now notice that we've got a little bit of color coming through. It doesn't matter, and I'll show you why in a minute once this dries. Okay. Now I'm going to carefully, because my white is still drying, I really should wait. But I'm going to come in with my black pen. And I'm going to bump up, whoops, I'm going to bump up that black a little bit. And look how much depth now we have. Much better. Everybody see how much better that looks with that darker black. Don't be afraid of your black. Don't be afraid of your pens. Zoom out. All right. Whatever tool it takes for you to get a really neat effect, have at it. Ballpoint pen, pencil, whatever. All right. Now, hold on one second. Let me grab something here. Bear with me. Silver glitter. Glitter glue by Bright Creations, 2 ounces. Zoom in. Isn't that pretty? I used iridescent on the last one, and this time I am using the silver. And that glue will settle and get a little flatter, but I want you to see how cool that looks. Now the white will show through the glitter a little bit, which is fine, but I'm also going to go back and now still add a little bit of my snow. So you can have both things or just the one. Up to you. Be creative, guys. How pretty. Zoom out. Zoom out. Let me roll you around. Up, 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 up. There we go. See it? Okay, we're making progress. Out. I need to have a conversation with Vicki that if she's going to break into my cookie stash, which was sitting behind me, that she shouldn't do it when she's behind me. All right, zoom out. Hold on a minute, guys. I mean, really, guys, wouldn't you think that if your dog was going to break into your cookie stash that they wouldn't do it directly behind you? Not my dog. So Rhonda says, wow, just wow. All right, let's do a couple more things on here and then I'll pop over to a different project. Now, again, if you want to get your bearings on something and you want to go through, so let me roll this around. Zoom in, zoom in, zoom in. So I've got some of these little berries here, and I'm doing these in golds, browns, and yellow. So this is my Sivo Vivid. It doesn't have a number on it, it's just this orangey color. And this is my Brett Funner, color 015, which is not part of my 520 set. So we're going to go ahead and put a little orange on there. And for the most part, guys, when you do berries, oranges, browns, yellows, and reds. And I've got my C117, which is coconut brown. It's a darker brown. And we'll go in and we'll get that brown in there. And I'm coloring it around the edge. Now, if you want to bring some of your brown into the entire piece, that's fine as well. To give yourself that dimension, up to you. And then I'm going to go ahead and use my Faber-Castell 103 and blend that up just a little bit and smooth that out. And the last touch is your black right along the edges here, just a little bit on the berries themselves, not much. All right. So Rebecca says, ILene, you said to get creative. So I let my 13-year-old make some of the design choices on my currently work in progress metallic gold spider web. Cool. On a black background. Cooler yet. I hope I can take a photo that does it justice. It looks super cool so far. There you go. Sweet. Okay. Now, I gotta look at something here a minute. Let's see. Okay, we're gonna make these berries. And my question to you is, Rebecca, would you have made those same choices that your 13-year-old made? So I'm going to work with the yellow and the orange. And the brown. How pretty is that? And I'm going to blend in with my yellow. So Rebecca says nope, she wouldn't have made those choices. There you go. And now you know. Okay, so let's roll around here. Yellow and my orange. Now, I'm staying relatively consistent with my berry colors. So I'm using the yellows, the browns, the oranges. And we can also get a little bit of red in there at some point. So Rebecca says he is very creative. It is fun to try to make his take on some work because we really come at our art from very different angles. There you go. Excellent. Well, you guys, you remember that day that I did the coloring of the little fairy on the rock? I think that was a Speary page. And you guys called out all the colors that you wanted me to use. That was fun. I really enjoyed doing that. And guys, that's why I want you to quit self-judging your pieces, because you may look at something and think it's awful, and somebody else will look at it and love it. So, as I always say, knock it off, right? Color your pieces, do the best possible job you can, and then put it out there. Okay, put that back. I don't know how many more ways I can tell you guys to quit, be so self-deprecating on your artwork. Drives me crazy when somebody posts and says, well, this is the work that I did, be kind. Yeah, okay. Okay, so I've got some yellow here, and I'm going to, as I drift off camera here, go ahead and put in a little red. And look how pretty, missed a couple here, look how pretty that red is looking on this. So pop in some red along the edge here, and that'll look really cool. Now I'm feeling the rhinestones through the page from from the other side. So you've got to be careful with that. Okay. And now I'm going to take my coconut brown, the C117. And put that right near the red. Red and brown are terrific companion colors. And I got a little bit, hold on my edge. There we go. Again, I like to keep, for visual reasons, I like to keep my pieces tidy. All right. So I'm putting a little bit of brown with that red and that yellow. And it's looking pretty cool. All right, Faber-Castell 103, very soft blend. And remember guys, your colors will hold. Don't be afraid to blend. All right, now I'm going to take, here we go. I'm going to take black. And at the base of my little nuts here, buds, whatever you want to call it, berries, I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of black. I want you guys to start experimenting with black. For those of you that don't have printers, you've got double pages in a lot of your books. Take out a page and experiment with it. Zoom out. Zoom out. Isn't that pretty? Now, I want you to notice on some of these berries, I've made them a little duller. These are brighter here down at the bottom. These are a little duller. They're different berries. So now I'm going to balance that over here. After I clean up. This will be the last set of berries that I do. Zoom in. Zoom in. Zoom in. So I'm going to go ahead and use my bright yellow. Notice that I'm varying where the yellow goes on the berries. Don't get into a repetitive pattern. It's going to look funny. Oh, Rhonda says she just got Vintage Classic Coloring Pages by Tatiana Stilova. Oh yeah, beautiful book, isn't it? And now I'm going to work in my orange. With my yellow. And of course, don't cover everything up, right? So Rhonda, you and Ashley need to connect about those coloring books, because I'm sure Jenny would be over the moon to receive some of them. And thank you, Ashley, for your generosity. And if you need to go back with your yellow and adjust a little bit, of course, no problem. All right. And now I'm going to come in with my black. Let me change something here. Good grief, I've probably got about 9 different blacks here. Okay, so Rhonda says we will. Her daughter just hooked her up her Wi-Fi. I'm going to help her with Facebook and joining our group tomorrow. Wish me luck. Okay. Cool. Okay, now I want you guys to watch how adding this black now is changing the whole grouping of these berries. And how pretty this is looking. A little wonky close up, but when you see it in the distance, you'll like it. I think, anyway. And then I'm going to take my finger and I'm just going to do a gentle little smudge. Zoom out. There you go. Now remember, my black that I've got in here right now between, that's all done in pen. And that was done, again, to highlight this whole piece. Zoom out. Let me see something here, yeah. So Rhonda, you said that you would sit with Jenny the first time that she comes in so you can help her with chatting and stuff. Da, 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 da. Okay, zoom out. Would you like me to keep going on this piece, or do you want me to pop over to the dog? Up to you. Let me grab some water. Questions or comments also? All right, let's see. Here we've got our little mushroom thingy here. Well, when she comes in the group tomorrow, we'll be here to say hello. That'll be pretty cool. Alright, so now I've got this thing, zoom in, zoom in. Faber-Castell 103 for my base color here. I'm also going to go ahead and put it on this in-between stuff because I want that softness and dullness of the brown that I'm putting on there. Cool Bank 117. The brown in between here. Notice that I'm darkening it up in some places and not others. As I've always said, even when you're tinting in your color, which means you're layering it in, you can still go ahead and darken up a little bit. Just be sure that that's exactly what you want. Alright, so this centerpiece is going to be pretty dark. And now I'm going to use my black, my Starjoy black. And I'm particularly interested in coloring that very center. Now, I'm going to carry this black over a little bit on the edge. I think that looks cool. And we'll define that a little bit more. And I'm also going to carry the black, oh my gosh, excuse me, the black on these lines. And then on our centerpiece, we'll come in with that little bit of brown shading. Now, again, guys, I would challenge you to challenge yourself to color a picture like this that you don't know what the pieces are. Alright, let's go through, put a little black on the edge here. And then my Faber-Castell 103 to smooth everything out. And Rhonda, this is what I really want you to notice, especially on your woodwork, is that your shading on your wood is not necessarily going to go away if you blend over it. That's where you're having a little bit of problem yet with your blending. Remember guys, shadows are not lines, right? It's shading. Okay. Zoom out. Zoom out. Pretty nifty. I think I'm pretty well set for now. Questions, comments? I want to make sure that you're comfortable with everything that I'm showing you tonight. Let me clean up a little smudge here. And I think we're in pretty good shape with this so far. All right, let me look at something real quick here. Okay, I think I'll hold off until tomorrow night because I don't really want to start a segment that I can't finish relatively quickly. Okay, moving on. Da-da-da-dum, ta-da-da-dum, da-da-da-dum, da-da-da-dum. All right, I've got two pieces that I've got coloring going on. Do you want me to work zoom out? Zoom out? Do you want me to work on the truck or do you want me to work on the puppy? We can change it up a little bit if you like. Da, 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 da. Anybody have any preference on that? Wanda says the puppy. The truck is from Country Autumn by Jade Summer. Puppy. All right, looks like the vote's on the puppy. Puppity puppity pup. let me continue with this. Zoom in. Zoom in. So I'm going to start working now on the bottom part here. This is my Caramel Cafe by Brett Funner. And this is my dark color. Now, the fun part about this, and why I really wanted to do this book, and do this particular piece, I was going to do the rabbits, but see, I want you to see how I'm going ahead and I'm coloring in the little nuances of the darkest fur. And what's going to happen in doing that and paying attention to those little nuances is that when we go to add in our other colors, it's going to make it look really cool. And I want to remind you that when you color something in and you go to blend it, you're not going to necessarily lose those colors. You have to really push on it and vigorously blend to lose your little highlights like this. Anybody have any question about that? And I would also like to remind you that this also gives you the opportunity. I don't want you to follow along blindly when you're coloring, that you can go in and add your own shading, and in this case markings, on whatever project that you're doing. For example, if you have a Labrador, a golden Labrador, and it's got certain markings on it, and you want to go ahead and emulate that, instead of using exactly what the author put on it, have at it. How cute is this puppy? And again, guys, don't be shy about asking questions if you have any. Boy, that glitter gets everywhere, doesn't it? Okay. Now I'm going to go in and put in my light, which happens to be my ivory. My 103 ivory from Faber-Castell. Zoom in. And if you want to do a really good job on your grayscale, this is where you'll pay close attention to where your shading is. Don't just willy-nilly color over it to get it done. And I also want you to notice too that on this puppy there are so many subtle fur colors. That's why this is a good project for you to watch. Even in this little section right here, there's a little bit of white, or light, I should say. Okay, now we've got a white or a light outline right here. And I want you to notice is that they're very teeny tiny light strokes in the fur. And that's why I want you to pay attention just very closely as to where your shades are. Everybody see these streaks of white down the paw? Don't ignore them. And this is where it's going to be super critical that you're turning your pencil while you're coloring. And by the way, thank you again for all the comments that you sent me about the top portion of this that I did and how cute it was. So I would suggest to you that when you're doing grayscale, is do an animal like this, and that'll start to make you more sensitive to these different colors. Oh, how pretty this is. Mm-mm-mm. Now, everybody see how there's this little ring of white color here? And the really neat thing too about doing grayscale is that when you start doing it, you become a lot more sensitive to color shifts. And I also want you to notice too that as I'm doing this lighter color, I'm going also a little bit over my darker color because that's blending it in. All right, zoom out. Doesn't it look cool? Medium color. Yolk yellow. All right. So now in the in-between areas here, now if you have a little bit of dark that you missed, pop it in. So now everything that's left is your medium color. And this is where you're going to come in and you're going to blend. Oh, there's that word again. Where you put your dark color and your lightest color. Now I want you to notice that this dark is very, very streaky yet. I haven't even really begun to work my colors and blend them together. But this is now where we're going to make this softer and softer. Now, everybody see how that coloring in between her legs, zoom in, is just becoming soft. And now I'm going to come in with the paw, because see, I had my darkest brown in between, and now I'm going to come in with my paw with my medium color. And blend that all together. Now, I don't know if grayscale intimidates you guys because you think that you have to color exactly on the spot. You don't. And in fact, when you color grayscale, it should inspire you to be artistic. Oh, look how pretty that is. And for those of you that think that grayscale is just filling in the blanks, no, that's not it at all. Grayscale is a wonderful, wonderful way to learn shading and coloring. Oh my gosh, guys, look how gorgeous that paw looks. Zoom out. Now be careful when you erase, because some grayscale books can take it, but other ones, your gray will go away. Right, Wanda? Oh, how pretty is that fur, guys? Zoom out. Zoom in. Okay. So Wanda, if you care to add any tips about your grayscale coloring, that would be wonderful. Now, sometimes what I like to do, good night, Maddie. Love you, sweetie. Thank you for coming tonight. So Wanda says yes, and grayscale is not just coloring one color and using the darks to make your shading. That's right, use colors along with the shading. Yep. Grayscale is a wonderful, wonderful launching point. for your coloring. So for example, if you wanted to add some different highlights into this puppy, you could, as Wanda is saying. And this is where your artistic side is really going to come out. Sandy says, ILene, did you see my grayscale I did with the girl in the water with the bugs? I don't think I did. I'll take a peek. I may have been getting ready to go on air. Okay, now I'm going over my darkest color right now because I want to soften that up. We don't want streaks. And if your color is still looking, oh, you did it, okay, Sandy, I'll look. Now, if you want to go ahead and deviate from the pattern here, so I'm going ahead and smoothing out that brown a little bit and extending it behind the paw, which actually I think will look really cool. You can. And now I'm using my ivory in my light spots again to blend even more. Yeah, Sandy, I will definitely take a look. And again, guys, I don't want you to be afraid of going over your previous colors with your pencils. So many people are afraid of that. You're not going to wipe your colors out. You really aren't. And once you start figuring out what goes over what and how to do it, you know, like I've been showing you this ivory over all our colors now. It's really going to make a difference for you. Excuse me. Good grief, I got to get some water. Hold on. Oh, this is ridiculously cute. Now, look at the difference between the two here. Let me grab my water. Now, I want to make another point about grayscale. And these streaks are not blended yet the way that I want them. That's too streaky. There we go. I'll still be working on that. Okay, this paw here. Thank you, Wanda. We've got 2 shades of medium, what in effect is your medium gray scale. So I'd gone through and I darkened the shadow between the puppy's claws. And I have a choice. I can either take my dark pencil and go lightly over this, okay, so it'll be lighter than this darker portion here, or I can take my medium pencil, which is what I would be using to go over the rest of this, and go over that slightly darker gray. So what I'm telling you is, sometimes when you're coloring medium, you can have lighter and darker shades of medium. Is everybody clear on what I'm saying? It's really important that you understand that, otherwise you might get a little confused. Zoom in. And what I want you to notice, see this medium gray right here that's in between? You really want to hit those because that's where the different colors of the fur are going to make a difference. So is everybody clear what I'm saying about this gray? Your medium gray can look slightly darker, but it's lighter than your darkest gray. So like I said, I'm going to go over that. I'm choosing to go over that with my medium pencil instead of my dark. Now you got to really pay attention to this, to your streaks, because I also have a little bit of dark in between here. So I'm going to go ahead and very lightly add that in. Everybody see that? Zoom in. Zoom in. And guys, this is what's going to make a difference on you having an excellent grayscale job. So see how I'm adding in that detail? And that's what Rhonda's been talking about, is layers. Is you want to go ahead and layer your colors and add your little streaks here. See this? Where I'm adding this brown, darker brown. This is my darkest brown. And guys, you've got a ton of leeway on fur. Okay. Faber-Castell 103. Now again, what I want you to notice, I'm taking my lighter color, my lightest color, and I'm blending over the tips of the paw here, and notice how I am not wiping out those extra streaks I put in. So that's because I'm not pushing hard when I blend. Okay. Zoom out. So I missed a little bit here. This is still fur. Here's my medium gray. I'm sorry, medium brown. On my medium gray. And I got a teeny tiny bit of dark. And guys, I can't tell you how satisfying this is. I mean, to go through and do this. So what Wanda says, it's common for her to use 5 different shades of colors in one area to work with the varied grayscale. Exactly. So for example, Wanda may go back in on something like this. You know, I've got my 3 colors now that I'm working. She may come in with a yellow-ish. And add that to the puppy fur. Depending if that's what she wants, the direction she wants to take her colors in. So once you've got your grayscale colors in like this, like on this puppy, then you can go to town with your varied colors. And I'll also say it again, that if this puppy had just been simple line art, okay, line art, you wouldn't have added all these shades in here, would you? And that's what that's what I'm working on getting you to do, is to think about these different shades. And that's where it's fun to do fur. So now I'm coming in with my dark brown, just because. Now remember when I put my darkest brown here as my base color on the darkest part of my puppy? Well, now I'm taking my darkest brown and I'm putting it on top of these colors that I put in with my medium and my light, and that's changing that brown color. So this brown and this brown are the same pencil, but look at the difference. That is what is so cool about this. So somebody looking at this thinks you used a different colored pencil when in fact you didn't. This pencil here and this pencil here are the same, but the colors changed because I'm putting it on a yellow base. Oh, how ridiculously cute. Okay, Rhonda says, I just hope my wood is better, not grayscale, 3 different browns and golds. Okay, good. And again, it's not the streaks that make it, it's the blending. Okay, let me see what I'm going to do here. Oops. So I'm going to erase my color here a little bit. And the reason that I'm doing that is because I realize that there's a gap between the 2 paws. My bad. Now, you could color it in as the puppy fur. But I'm going to go ahead and put that gap in there. Okay. And Wanda, I don't want you fussing over your wood. How pretty are these paws? And now I'm blending over with my ivory, and it's really starting to look like angel hair. Isn't that beautiful? Okay. So I'm just going to put a little bit of brown in there because I want that lick of fur coming off. And I'll pull that up just a little bit. Okay. Now notice that my puppy fur here, the brown is streaky. Bad, 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 bad. Yick. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my darkest brown, and I'm going to blend out those streaks a little bit. So what that means is I'm going on either side of those streaks, and I'm blending them out. Zoom out. Zoom out. Zoom out. Questions? Now, anybody see anything wrong with this picture in the overall view? Yes, no, maybe. Come on, guys, quit coloring a minute and look at this. What's wrong with it? The underside of the mouth needs to be darker. Okay. I'm talking in generalities. Okay, to me, it looks like the bottom part of this puppy, from the collar down, is a little more vibrant than the top. So I'm going to take my medium color and I'm going to make this upper portion a little more vibrant. In other words, a little richer. You see it, Wanda? Right, one more shade. And this is where Wanda is talking about layering your pencils. And I also, again, want you to notice that I'm not wiping out my darker brown at all. And now, look at the area around, exactly, a few more dark spots on the top of the head. See, notice the area around the spot on the, around the snout is richer now than the top. And this is the kind of thing that I want you to look for. So right at the moment, I'm working with my medium brown to rebalance this picture. And again, the additional blending now is only making it look better, especially from the standpoint of the fur and the softness. I'll say it again, I'm not wiping out the initial colors that I put on this fur by going back over it again. That's your layering. And what I'm going to do, Wanda mentioned a little darker at the top would look good. I agree. So I've got my darkest shade here, and I'm going to go ahead and darken around his eyes. Zoom in. Now notice over the eye right here, I'm going to repeat stroke. Isn't that cute? Now, listen to me carefully, guys. The correction that I made at the top is a color correction, okay? Because I wanted to balance this out a little bit. But what I want to point out, and what Wanda has also told you, is that by going back and putting more layers is what makes your pieces look really rich and smooth. So, had I not come up to the top here with my darker brown to balance the color, listen to this, I would have come up to the top and worked with my medium and light pencil in order to increase those layers. Because it's those layers that are what making this look really cool. Does everybody understand what I'm saying here? So yes, I'm doing a color correction, but I also would have gone up and added layers to make this thing look better. Okay. Zoom out. Notice how that's better balanced now, and it's richer overall. I'm still looking a little streakier than I want in here, so I'll correct that with my medium color. Oops. I just want to soften that. Now, this is where you've got to start to be careful, because as you're adding your layers to enhance, you're also running the risk of wax bloom. And wax bloom happens when the paper just simply cannot take any more of your color. Now notice too, to dull this brown and the streakiness, I'm going across. See this? That's okay. To change direction with your pencil if that's what's required to achieve the effect that you want. Okay. So I want to blend this in a little bit because we've got looking a little streaky. Now notice this white area right here, this lighter area. It indicates the reflection of the paw that's facing forward, right? So we've got this white here and this white down here. And guys, as I'm telling you this stuff, I want you to think about your coloring on line art. This stuff applies to line art as well. So I want to get my shine in here. So I'm going to go ahead and erase a little bit. I'm actually going to use my electric eraser. Be careful if you do this. Harriet was a little surprised about being able to add shine like this. With an electric eraser. It's a pretty cool method. And now I'm going to come in with my cream color. Faber-Castell 103. And we now have two paws now that have our shine. See it? I love it. I'm going to go ahead and close up the shine just a little bit. There we go. Get more of a rounded area. Okay, I'm going to quit while I'm ahead. I love it. I'm not done in this area. Oh, I got a few more minutes. Zoom in. Zoom in. And I haven't even touched the nose yet. So I'm going to come up underneath with my medium color here. And then I'm going to actually very, very carefully oh yeah, just touch it with a little bit of black. Oh, how cute. And actually, while I'm here, I might as well do this as work on the nose for you. I want that nostril to be very black. So in this case, I'm going to use the black to define this. Then I'm going to use my Faber-Castell 103. Actually, I'm not. I'm going to use white very carefully. And then I'm going to use, oops, not that one. Give me a moment here. I'm going to use a medium gray. Zoom in. Oh, hold on, please. I'm going to use a medium gray in my slightly lighter areas here. And you may say, well, why color it gray when it's already gray? Well, because that pencil is enhancing your colors. You don't ever want to leave grayscale untouched when it's black. Well, there's a couple of instances that you can. But when you have your medium grays here, it's fine. To use it. Alright, now I'm going to use the Prismacolor 70% gray. And that's a pretty hefty gray. And notice that I'm going around the outside of the nose where I use the black of the nostril. Now I need to go back and touch this one up a little bit. I closed it off a little more than I intended. So we'll get that nostril back. And I'm going to go right out here to where that brown is and blend that together. And I'm hoping that you can see the different colors now on this nose. And now I'm going to take a little bit of black, very, very lightly, because you remember now I'm coloring over this gray, so it's not going to go 100% black like the nostril. And we're going to shade in that nose. Oh, look how cute that looks. See it? So I want you to think about that when you're using black on top of another color, you are muting that black. And that's why I'm able to get away with it here. Absolutely gorgeous. And then I'm going to take my Faber-Castell ivory, and I'm just once or twice going to go over that white. There we go. And I want to put a little bit of shine up at the top of the nose here. Oh, how ridiculously cute. Zoom out. Now, I don't like this line straight across. It's bugging me. So I'm going to curve up my black and make that line look a little more curved. Everybody see that difference? So I'm making a very slight smiley face here. Oh, much better. Zoom out. Zoom out. And while we're at it, I can go ahead and darken the eyes as well. And I'm going for the full black. Zoom in. Zoom in. I'm going for the full black on the pupils. Again, this is one of those rare occasions you can do this. And then on the outside, where it's lighter gray, we'll go ahead and touch that up. Zoom in. Zoom in. You can see the difference in the gray color. And then I'm going to take my ivory. We'll put a little highlight there around the outside of the pupil. And my Arteza gel pen. Zoom out, zoom out, and I want to round it just a little more here. There we go. Questions? Right now I'm at too stinking cute. Oops. And then any little touch-up that you need to make, I've got my ivory that I'm just going to go ahead underneath the mouth a little bit again. This is what Wanda likes to do. She loves to fuss when she's doing her grayscale. And boy, does it come out beautifully, doesn't it? Zoom out. All right, one more little touch. Just because. This won't take me long at all. Da, 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 da. Zoom in. Zoom in. I'm going to go ahead and play around with this apple a little bit. Now, check out the grayscale on this. I've been doing these apples for you on the wreath like crazy. And now we've got one that's got the grayscale on it to show you in grayscale what I've been showing you in line art. Cadmium Yellow Light 004 by Castle Arts. And this would be at the top of the apple now where your brown part comes in. and can come in. And now we're going to go with, oop, not that color. Woohoo. Rhonda, do you have any tips or anything that you'd like to talk about when you're coloring your grayscale? Okay, so I'm coming in with a darker red. And this color is the Brett Funner 133 color. Oh, Wanda, I said, do you have any little tips that you want to talk about while I'm getting my colors here on my apple? So this is my darker red of the two. Zoom in. Zoom in. Now, be careful when you get next to your fur because you want to go ahead, zoom in. You want to go ahead and you want to come in with some little sharp jabs with the red so that that fur looks ruffled. And now I'm going to come in with my lighter red, which is my Barberry, which is my Brett Funner 520 colors. That's right. The only thing I would add on an apple is it's important to have the direction of all the pencil strokes going directly towards the stem. Yepper. So even when you're coming up here to coloring, you want to stroke them towards that stem. We've talked about this before. It makes a difference, guys. It really does. So see, instead of going back and forth right here, I'm going up into the stem area, and I'm also leaving a little red jagged area in the yellow. Okay, let me turn that, excuse me. And if you need to draw a line or two, like I just did that one to direct your strokes, perfect. And notice how I have a little bit of a ragged edge. See that ragged edge right there? Zoom in. Zoom in. Let's see if we can get that for you. Makes a difference, guys. Okay. Now, I'm going to zip in my highlight. If you forgot to leave it, that's fine, no biggie. I left a little one, but I want a bigger one here. And now what I'm going to do is take my Faber-Castell 103. And blend in now. That beautiful red. Now, since we're putting ivory over the top, we're going to lose a little bit of the red vibrancy. And that's why when you pick your color, if you know that you're going to blend it like this, you want to pick your color to be a little bit darker than what you intended. Having said that, on this apple is I'm going to go back now that I've got this nice and smooth, and I'm going to go back with my red and enhance my colors. And the reason this works now is because we've got that ivory underneath that's acting as a nice little slippery base to blend on top of. And because of that, now we've got a really beautiful looking apple. And this is where you can play with this jagged part of this red that gets closer and closer to the stem. You can always touch up your yellow a little bit if you want. And now I'm going to go ahead and put in, let's see what we got here. I'm going to use my Caramel Cafe Brett Funner, and we'll go ahead and spruce up that dark spot. See that? How cool is that? Now, if you want to, you can bring your brown down a little bit. Watch this. Let me make sure we got, all right. See that? So you can pull that brown into the red a little bit. And on top of that yellow. Again, apples are so much fun to do. And then I'm going to take my ivory again, my 103, and I'm just going to go ahead and smooth out my highlight area. Oh my gosh, guys, look how soft and pretty that looks. And trust me, as you're doing coloring like this, you will get a feel for when to quit, when to blend, when to bring up your edges a little bit. I love it. Zoom out. Zoom out. And then in the crevice here, just to, you know, these are these little touches here, you'll get it. You really will. I'm just going to pop in a little bit of, oh my gosh, not much, black at the base of the stem, very lightly. And then on the stem itself, I've got a black raspberry, of all things. We'll go ahead and enhance the stem. So I've got a little bit of the black raspberry, and then I'm using a gray. This is a Sooty Style color 050. There you go. Oh. And here's just a fun little thing you can do as well. If you want to go ahead and add like a couple of streaks here of the brown. You know how apples have those patterns on them? Isn't that cool? Zoom in. Look at that. You'll get it. Zoom out. Zoom out. Oh, how cute. Questions, comments? Everything that I'm doing after a while will come to you naturally. I don't want you to be overwhelmed with the layering. I don't want you to be overwhelmed with the back and forth on this. Zoom in. One more little thing. Zoom in. Zoom in. Do you remember when I added a few black spots to the apple? There you go. Zoom out. Hi, Sherry. Zoom out. So just put that in your Univac that you add little black spots to your apple. Zoom out. And let's look at the whole thing. Zoom out. Zoom out. All right. We got ourselves a little puppy dog. Now, these are not streaks that need to be blended out. This is the way I want the fur to look. This is a furry lab. Now, if you want to change it up a little bit, you can go ahead and grab a yellow and smooth that out a little bit, up to you. And this is where Wanda was talking about using sometimes 4 or 5 colors or more on an area. So I just added a little bit of yellow, my Castle Arts yellow on there. Okay. Calling it an evening. We covered lots of fun stuff. I hope you enjoyed it. Loved having you guys here. I hope you learned something. Guys, love you. That's why I do this. Please, please share this broadcast, guys. It doesn't matter if your friends don't color. Have them come in and just enjoy watching something pretty cool. It is so important that you share these. Good night, Ash. Good night, Rhonda. Good night, Wanda. Rhonda, Wanda, Ashley, Sherry. Zoom in. This is ILene Vick for Teaching Adult Coloring with ILene Vick. Guys, love you. Joyous, joyous coloring. Be kind out there. And I will see you tomorrow night. Same time, same place.